Hi, sorry for the major delay in getting you an update. But as one of my favourite sayings is, uh, life gets in the way, has proved immensely apt. Usually it's a wholly negative um, thing where, you know, events overtake you so you can't do the stuff that you're supposed to. It's actually been quite a helpful thing during this period. Um, I will be looking off to the side every so often because I've had to note down the stuff that I have to cover. Um, so I'm going to quickly cover what's happened over the last few days, starting with days 15, 16, and 17. um, I went into a massive hibernation cycle, and I spent most of those days um, sleeping at the drop of a hat, or just being asleep without any wakeful time in between. Um, it's a sign that my depression is really bad and that the stress has gotten to me when that happens. But life got in the way, unfortunately, or fortunately, in this instance. But that's a couple of days in the future. In this quick rundown of what happened on day 18, which is November the 15th, a local organisation arranged for me to have a food parcel from the local food bank. It put me in quite a quandary, um, a moral dilemma, because in a way I didn't feel I needed it or deserved it. But if I didn't accept it, then the organisation that is now able to give out um, the food bank vouchers um, might have been seen in a bad light. So I accepted it, and luckily I did, because that same day the MP3 player that I rely on to be able to go out into the world with broke down. And also because of the cold weather, I needed um, money for heating, so I was able to take the money that I saved having to get food uh, to buy extra money on the extra money on the electric so that I could get some heating. So I can now put the heater on for about an hour and a half, a space heater on for an hour and a half a day, just to take the cold off off the cold atmosphere in the flat. And I had to unfortunately deplete my already depleted um, savings to get myself a new MP3 player, which I absolutely need to go out, because otherwise the anxiety gets too much for me. Um, right, on day 19, uh, which was the Wednesday, my ex-wife was taken ill, um, and this is the part where life got in the way, but it was actually a good thing, because I had to start concentrating on something else other than the stress that I was going through because of my PIP. We She got worse overnight, So I had to take her to the hospital on what would have been day 20, which is exactly a week after she came with me to my PIP assessment. So um, it was nice that I could repay her that quickly. She was uh, admitted into hospital, um, and she was there for a few days. Um, what I didn't know was my dad was also taken into hospital during that period because he'd taken another downward turn due to yet another infection. He was sent out the day before Dinah was released, and looking at the dates, Dinah went into hospital on what would be day 20 of my journey. Day 20 and 21, I spent going to and from the hospital, getting stuff to her and everything. And it was during that day 21, 22, where Dad was sent to hospital. He was then sent home in quite a disgusting state, I think, in a pair of pajamas, wrapped in a couple of blankets, and sent home in a taxi, which is hardly very nice way of being sent home. Yeah, I know it, door to door, but he wasn't able to get dressed or anything like that. He was in this cold weather, very, very limited amount of coverage. Dinah wasn't supposed to be coming home until the Monday, and on the Sunday morning she gave me a phone call. This would be day 23. She said, not coming home till tomorrow, even though she said she'll be happy to go home on the Sunday. And then very last minute, on the Sunday afternoon, I got a phone call, can you come and pick me up? And I had to go and pick her up, and we just about caught the last bus home, because they somehow needed the bed between the morning and the afternoon. So there was a lot of stress. I was actually hoping that Sunday was going to be a day that I could, fall back into my hibernation cycle, but life got in the way again, and there you go. All the while, this is actually taking away what would be stress around the PIP. It was also stopping me doing stuff that I needed to do on something else I needed to do. A project that I'm trying to get started, but at least that project is tied in with my mental health problem. So all this other stuff was actually taking my mind off of the PIP stuff. Days 24 to 27, which is last Monday to Thursday. So that's the 21st to the 24th of November. I was helping my ex-wife as much as possible, doing stuff that she needs doing because she's in too much pain to do it herself, and going with her to a hospital appointment. Again, that was stress, but it was stress not tied to my PIP. And all of this meant that every time I got home, the reason I haven't been producing these videos is because I've either been too tired, and in a hibernation cycle, or too tired because I've been rushing about helping my ex-wife. So it's been good in one way, but it has also stopped me doing these videos. Last Friday, which would be day 28, I got a call very early. Because I've been getting very disturbed sleep cycle, I ended up going to bed very late that morning. I think it was about 5:30 I went to bed, maybe even later. And it was 6:30 I went to bed on Friday morning, and an hour and a half later I got a phone call from Mum. She needed me to go and help her with my dad. He thrown up all over himself overnight, and he was so weak. They managed to get him into his wheelchair and get him into the living room, but then he needed to go to the toilet and physically couldn't walk, and Mum couldn't help him get up, so I had to go over with very little sleep, had to go over, and when I saw my dad, he looks like an emaciated corpse, which did not make last Friday a very good day for me. I'm not close to my parents in that way, but to see a man whose favourite pastime was going out for a walk and going out for miles worth of walk, to see him not even be able to stand up is pretty shattering. But again, took my mind off of the PIP problem. It took me an hour and a half to get over there because I had to use public transport, and I was there for most of the day. I came home to get an urgent call from my ex-wife. She needed something because she couldn't go out and get it because she was in too much pain again. So I didn't even get to eat the dinner that I bought out because there was no way I was going to come home and cook. So I spent money I shouldn't have spent on getting a cheap dinner at the local chippy. And I was so shattered. I actually got in about 9:30, 10 o'clock. After having left here about 8:30 in the morning, and I was absolutely shattered. And I came home and I saw the brown envelope from the DWP, and everything that had taken my mind off of the PIP problem came smashing me in the face. And I actually thought, well, this has been a shitty day. This is just going to be the icing on the cake. I got the same feeling getting that brown envelope as I did when I received the first letter saying that I had an assessment coming up. And I didn't know what to do, but I thought I might as well open it. So I did get my judgment, and it was in record time. I mean, the assessment was on day 14, and on day 28, I got my judgment. And the judgment was I get to keep PIP. But the thing was, I was so stressed with everything that had gone on during the day, stressed at the fact that there was a brown envelope from the DWP, that I didn't get a chance to enjoy the fact that I got to keep PIP and that I'd got such a quick judgment. And Saturday and Sunday, days 29 and 30, I went into major hibernation cycle again. And it was not because of stress, it was because of relief. And tinged with a bit of stress because of the ongoing situation with Dad and my ex-wife. And I still have not really been able to celebrate the fact that I've got my PIP. I get to keep PIP. And it just got to me that I've gone through all this stress and everything, and the judgment is that I'm still on the lowest amount that you can get. So I've gone through all this stress to get 50 odd pounds a week. And I know that this is only, I've won a battle. The war continues because I'm on ESA, Employment Support Allowance, for those who don't know what ESA is. And I'm now worried that I will get a brown envelope saying that I have an assessment to keep my ESA. And my ESA is what pays all most of my bills, and my PIP just about covers any emergency stuff. So even though the PIP journey is over, there's a possibility of a future battle. And the amount of stuff, the amount of stress I went through to get the evidence for this, for PIP, is going to be worse for ESA. Because PIP, you can work and claim PIP. PIP is the successor to Disability Living Allowance, or DLA. And even if you're working, you can get that. And a famous person who claimed DLA was David Cameron for his disabled son. A man who is a multimillionaire, married to a multimillionaire, and yet they still claimed DLA. He didn't have to go through the stress and strain. He didn't even need the money, to be quite honest. But I had to go through all this. And other people, I'm not just saying it's me going through this, but other people are going through this for as little as 50 odd pounds, about 54, 55 pounds a week. But with ESA, that is going to be a harder battle. And I don't know. I don't know whether I could take another fight. I hope I don't have to fight for it. I'm hoping that at least with the PIP judgment, that might help me retain my ESA. But I know that that's the next battle. The next battle is going to be, at some point, they are going to come after my ESA because they haven't been able to save any money on my PIP. They will come after me for ESA because although there are no plans to make any cuts to the welfare budget, we know that they are still looking to cut the budget, kick people off of benefits that they actually need. And I now have an indefinite amount of time to worry about when they're coming for me to justify my pittance that I get on ESA. And other people are who are in a far worse position than I, financially, are struggling more than I am, are going through it too. I don't know why I got such a quick judgment on the PIP though. All I can assume is that possibly it was these videos that helped get a quicker judgment, because it was picked up by my local news website. The first one was anyway. And my local MP, who I do not like, and she does not like me, she is a Tory. Her people do keep an eye on my blog. And just to try and discredit me, might have, pushed for a quicker assessment. I don't know. Maybe it was just I was lucky and I got I got them on a day when they had very little work to do, but somehow I doubt it. I think there's something going on behind the scenes. But anyway, so day 28, last Friday, I got my judgment, but although it was a victory, it was, as I said, it's just the first in an ongoing series of battles. The next battle will be they will come for my ESA. If they take that, then I am truly screwed, because the money I have to spend out on rent will blow most of what I get in a week on PIP. So the battle continues, and as I get those battles, I will be producing more videos of how it affects me. And I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do the daily rundown that I was hoping to. But as I said, life got in the way. But I will keep you up to date on all future developments regarding ESA or PIP or anything like that. Anything that the DWP do to try and where people like myself and other people, other claimants, to wear us down, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to wear us down to the point where we will not fight, and that we will just cower down and die. And that's ultimately what they want, because this isn't austerity for any other reason than social cleansing. So I don't know when the next update will be, because I don't know when the next battle will start. But thank you for watching. If you've been watching this entire series, I do apologise if I worried anyone with how the last video ended, but I hope that this has been of some use to you, to understand what claimants have to go through. So I'll see you when I see you. Bye.